Recording. All right. Again, so thank you for being a part of our webinar today. And it's really around strategic account meetings and how to plan for them, how to execute them, and what you want to get out of those particular meetings. So in essence, the SAM is to develop, maintain, grow new and existing accounts, identify any potential red flags, future opportunities, changing players or vulnerabilities within the account. So not really to sell anything during that period, is to look for future revenue generations and to ensure you're meeting the customer's expectations. So basically, are you moving in the right direction? Are you going in the direction to meet the customer requirements now and in the future? So the deliverables from a SAM. One, you want to build pipeline and identify cross-sell and upsell opportunities. Again, you're not looking to sell right now, but you're looking for the future. Align product roadmap to customers' current and future requirements. What is the customer looking to do, or what do they need to do in the very near future that can map back to your roadmap where you can realign it or let them know what you're doing for that. Ensure customer success and building customer loyalty. I'm a big fan. Every customer can be successful, but not every customer can be loyal. So you want to build those loyal customers, let you know when a competitor comes in or they're finding something with the product, they get back to you and then you correct that. So that's loyalty, and that's what you really want from a customer, is a loyal customer. Ensure a complete understanding of the customer's long-term goals and objectives. This meeting is about them. You need to make it about them. What's their goal? What are their objectives? How do you contribute to that to make them successful? Very important. Verify short and long-term strategies are in line with the customer strategy and overall business plan. Are your strategies and objectives and goals aligned with theirs? Are they out of sync? Very critical to have your goals for this account, short and long-term, aligned with their business plan. Give executive management insight, insightful visibility into the account. The account management, the account owners know the account. They know what's going on inside the account. It's maybe the managers, the VP level, the C level that needs to know what's going in some of these very strategic accounts. And the way they get this vulnerability, the visibility, is be able to look inside these strategic account meetings. If they can't make it, what was discussed, who did they meet with, how are they going to be able to get involved to drive more success within the account. And verify the value you bring to the customer. Are you bringing the value that you stipulated when either they brought you into the account, they bought your product, they brought your solution, they brought your professional services? Are you continuing to bring that value? And is your value matching back up with their long-term goals and objectives? Planning is key to a successful SAM. So you have to invite the right attendees. They can be from your company, whether it's sales engineer, marketing person, first line supervisor, VP of sales, civil executive. Who are you inviting from your company? Any partners. So if you have partners engaged in that account, bring the partners along, because at times they may have better visibility into the account than you have because they're closer to it. Maybe they're in the same city, the same state, and they interact with these people on a regular basis. So bring in any partners that can help you drive the success. And don't forget the customer, right? Always invite the right person from the customer, your champion, any decision makers, the buyers, anything that helps you drive revenue, loyalty, success within that account. Get the customer involved. It's very critical. Plan and schedule in advance. I can't have a strategic account meeting for next week. I should plan it out, a month in advance or a couple months in advance to give everybody time to prepare for the meeting and be able to execute that meeting successfully. allows everyone in the group to prep. Everybody should be ready, from the sales engineer to the account executive to the C-level, if they're coming in there, not only on your side, but also on the customer side and the partner side. Ensure everyone can attend. If there's certain individuals that you know have to be in that meeting and they can't attend, it may be a good idea to postpone it, maybe a couple weeks, or move it a little earlier, but make sure you can get the right people to attend the meeting. Or if not, you'll have another one right down the road and you won't get the same success or the same benefit from having everybody in the room at one time. Or if some have to do remotely, that's fine. Create and distribute an agenda. What are we going to talk about? Or is it going to be on site? If so, what special things do we need? Do we need a projector? Do we need a internet connection? Are we going to bring in food? What kind of food allergies does somebody have? We want to be able to plan all that, and that's why we're going to have an agenda. You want to review with your team first. Is your team in sync with your agenda? Do you want to move maybe the C-level conversation ahead of maybe from a roadmap perspective? So is everybody in your team reviewing it? Send to the customer and have them agree upon it. Yeah, this is exactly what we want to talk about, or no, we need to add these items in to the agenda. Review and be prepared to discuss the following. Open support tickets. I don't know how many times I've been in a meeting where I've gone and I have a certain thing that I want to discuss, and all of a sudden the customer says, oh, we have these open support tickets. Where are they? And that derails your conversation immediately, because now you're on the defensive regarding your support tickets. So make sure that you've got all your support tickets. Are they open? Be prepared to discuss that. And any open opportunities, you should be able to discuss those with great detail with the customer. Recently closed or won or lost. So let's talk about won opportunities. Let's talk about the lost opportunities. Sometimes it's more critical to discuss some of the lost opportunities that you've had and figure out how I can go back in there maybe when their renewal's up with that competitor that won, and how do I go back in there and win those deals. And your roadmap, 6 months to 18 months. And I put roadmap in here because I've been in organizations where only certain people can discuss a roadmap. For example, the product owner, the product manager, or the VP of operations or product are the only people that can discuss a very detailed roadmap with the customer. That goes back to make sure that you invite the right people from your company. So you can almost line up what you want to discuss with who you've invited and map that one-to-one so they know that they're prepared to discuss that. So one thing that I like to do is I like to verify certain things that I'm assuming from the account, or I've gotten from the account over time. One, I want to verify my 6-month plan and 12-month plan. You can call it short-term, long-term. Your vernacular or sales taxonomy can be totally different. Just make sure that you verify what you have in your plan. Is it in line with the customer's business goals and objectives? Anytime that you can ensure that the customer is meeting their goal and objectives and they're successful using your software, that becomes a loyal customer because you're helping them meet their goals and objectives. As long as you have it annotated in your plan, no matter if you decide to leave the company and somebody else takes this account over, they've got the same level of information. So you have a lot of business continuity in the transition of accounts. Is your champion signed off on your plan, right? Hey, I've got with my champion. I know he's my champion or she's my champion. We've talked about my plan. They go, you know what? You're total line with what we need to discuss or where we need to be, what we need from your company. The customers share your vision. I have an overall vision for an account. Do I want to grow it? Do I want to help them, get into other business? Do they share your vision? That's very, very critical in order to ensure that you're meeting their goal and objectives. Again, ask you questions at any time during the thing, you put them up the Q&A and I'll answer them, but just let me know if we're on the right track. And just verify any meeting scheduled to complete events or tasks in the plan. Do you have an executive briefing that you've scheduled? Okay, do you want to go over that with them and say, oh, you know what? Is everybody sure they can make this? Am I going to invite them out to a little outing, from a marketing event? Make sure you can go over those because they're all part of your plan. I got a question here. And any events in the plan. So I want to make sure I've got all my meetings. Even I may want to talk about meetings I've already done, just to make sure that I'm in the right frame of mind with that customer. Oops. I want to verify and identify the following: their buying process. Do I understand the customer's buying process? Do I know how they buy things? Do I know who with the customer is responsible for that particular process? Do I know who's doing the contracts? Do I know who's testing the software? Who's even initially looking at the solutions? I verify it and I've identified it. It's very critical. Now I can email the customer and say, hey, top 3 vendors, or we're looking at a POC or a POV. I want to talk to you about it. I want to help you get your plan together for that POC or POV if you need some assistance. Nothing better than writing your own POC or POV for a customer. Initiatives. What are they going to do in the short term and long term to be able to drive revenue? We call this white space selling, or it's pre-pipeline revenue. This is revenue that I can say, oh, I'm slipping $100,000 this quarter. What can I potentially pull from? And you pull from this white space and move their initiatives up if possible. So I want to verify and identify any initiatives. And when you discuss initiatives with the customer, you're coming across more as a trusted advisor and not just someone trying to sell them some software and every year do a drive-by to pick up your renewal. I know at point in time, I like to stay engaged with our customers. I like to call them our partners. And I want to make sure that we're meeting their goals and objectives now and in the future. Very critical for us. And milestones. What do I need to do in this account to be successful? Executive briefing, another roadmap discussion, schedule an outing with them, schedule a meeting. What initiatives or milestones do I need to schedule, and who's responsible for them in my organization? I may have to set up an executive briefing, but I don't schedule the CEO's time. That's somebody else, executive assistant, and I have to assign that to that person. Verify, identify, and discuss the following. Open opportunities. Get the latest from the horse's mouth in these meetings. Won and lost opportunities, critical. Changes in account organizational structure, chain of approval. So have their chain of approval from if I get in a deal, it moves ahead, who is the contract person? Who's cutting the check? Who has the final sign off? It's not only an organizational map, but it's also the chain of approval. So it's very critical that you understand that and see if anything has changed. I myself, before I meet with the customer that's a public company, I like to go out and see if there's any notices or they put any press releases out regarding changes in structure. Were they bought? Did they acquire anybody? If they acquired anybody, what initiatives do they have with that company where I can hopefully sell into it to land and expand? Open support tickets. This is critical that you understand the support tickets and you're ready to work them and you have someone there that can discuss them in detail. Competitors, the new competitors, the existing competitors, and the ones that are no longer there. And that's very interesting. If you find that competitors are no longer there, why? Did they not meet the goal and the objectives of their customers? They did, but they don't now, and they didn't look for that in the future. So it's very critical that gone, and then you can almost go out and look at those competitors and see if they've done from a product perspective. Now, practical exercise. So what I'm going to do is I'm in Salesforce in Lightning. Yours may look a little different, Classic, but what I'm about to show you will be the same no matter what version that you're using. And I'm an account called B4 Box. And what I've done is I've created a meeting in the future called SAM, and I have a semi-annual strategic account meeting with my customers. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click in the meeting itself. What I've done is I built a template called strategic account meetings, and I leverage that template for a couple things. One is to my goal and objectives are right here for the meeting. I can also look at what I want to do in that meeting, what I want to be able to accomplish in that meeting, documentation, review things. That's what this template is used for. So I've created my meeting. I've got my players. Now I can invite them. So I can just go in here and hit my invites, make sure the time is correct. And I can send it to everybody. I can send it to individuals, whoever I want to do. A question? Oh, a second. Let me close that. And let me go in here and make sure that I'm sharing the right screen. Oops. Hold on a second. And everybody see this okay now? Perfect. So let's see here. So check. All right. Excellent. All right. So now I hope you can see the screen. I think I've figured out this technology. So you see I'm in a meeting inside of an account called B4 Box. And now I want to send invites. Again, the template that I discussed earlier that you all couldn't see has some things in here. It has my goal and objectives right here. What do I want to accomplish in the meeting? And it has some things in here that I might want to be able to change inside of the account without actually having to go back into it. And it displays the buttons that I want to be able to accomplish in this. So I created a template. I can use that template over and over. Any of my account reps can use that template. Very easy to use. And now I want to send some invites. So I go into invites, just make sure my time is correct. And I want to send them to everybody, or I can send individuals. I can put some additional information. And I can also create an agenda. So I can go in here and I can put, what we want to talk about, who's attending, additional information, resources that I'm required right here, where we have in the meeting. And then what happens when I save this becomes part of my meeting invite. I don't have to send this separately. It's part of my invite. And I just have to send it and off it goes. I'm only going to send it to myself right here, and I'm going to send it. You don't have to do anything to your email servers or nothing. We'll send it right out of Salesforce. So now the meeting invite went out. They're ready for the meeting, and now I can take notes in that meeting. So I can even look at notes from previous meetings to make sure, but I can say, okay, here's my SAM, and I can take public notes. So these are notes that everybody can see. It's not going to bother me if the customer reads these notes. Or I can take internal notes. And internal notes, I could even have questions already predefined here. And then I can save these and I can send them to the customer. Very easy to do. I can look at my actionable intelligence. The last time that we met, what did we discuss? So maybe we discussed the budget, actions coming out of the meeting, some of their requirements, and what products do we match up with, competitors, the pain points that they're having, our strengths, our weaknesses, and this is all drop-down configured by you, the customer. Obstacles, objections, why buys. So I got all this great information. and it's stored as part of this meeting and part of this account. But also can go in here what we call after actions review. Oh, you can't see the pop-ups. I gotta pop those up too. Hold on a second. Let me know if you can see this, the pop-ups now. Let's see here. Awesome. Okay. All right. So again, I got my invites right here. I can send them out. I can do my create an agenda. Sorry for the technical difficulties. More on my side. Here's my agenda right here, and it goes part of the invite. So it ships with the invite. I've got my notes right here, internal and public. Again, public notes, I don't care if the customer sees them. I want them to see them. I want to send it to them. Internal notes are only meant for my team. Internal use only. And I can look at notes from previous meetings also. And again, the actionable intelligence, what did we discuss last time in this meeting? The last meeting that we had with the customer. I can verify all these things. Strength, weaknesses, obstacles, objections, and all the drop downs are configured by you in the product. And then let's say I have some specific questions that I want to be able to ask. So I go in here and I say, you know what? Are we aligned with your goal and objectives? Answer that. Are we meeting your expectations? What can we do better? What are we doing right? I can answer all those questions. Those are questions that I need to be able to answer, ask, and get answered back. So, and we call it after actions review. You can change that and call it whatever you like, but it's just kind of what we call it by default. But again, what I really want to do is I want to verify my account plan. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to go into my plan itself, and you can see they're all linked together. There's nothing hocus pocus here. Everything is linked together within the product. I've got my details. I've got, you know, how are we going to win? In my short-term plan, it'll refresh here in a second. How are we going to win? Again, this is all based on a template also, so this could be pre-defined. My checklist with the customer, and then my buying process. Okay, here's the process that they go through to buy, not to select, but to buy, and who the customer is responsible, and I could email that customer right out of here. I want to verify or identify any initiatives. What initiatives are they? What products do I want to position? What additional information? What's the time frame? Who the customer is responsible that I can go back to them, right? And then what this does, this builds this pre-pipeline revenue. So again, I'm just verifying, identifying this particular customer initiative. The milestones right here. Who's it assigned to? Description, it's a task, and when is it due? The red flags, what in this account can happen? Right here. And yes, you will be able to access this recording. Once I save it, I'll put it out on YouTube and you'll be able to look at it, or on our website. So here's my red flag, but not only have I got a red flag, I've started my mitigation process against that red flag. So how am I going to mitigate this particular thing right here? I've got nodes again, I've got more. And then as you see, that white space that I talked about, or those initiatives, what we've done, I know that I have 5 of these white spaces, potential value of 1.7 million. What products have I positioned? And again, when are they going to do these initiatives? Again, this is great information. So no matter who is running the account, they have the same level of information as the person who started it or was working on it. Right here. And then I also have my score. But what I like to do also is I like to send my plan to the executive management maybe before the meeting, or they can access it right here, and they can access it on their iPad. So this is my iPad right here, and this is my playbook for this account. So my manager, anybody in the meeting can have this, and I'm going over this plan with the customer. I'm just making sure that I'm doing things. I can't change anything here. It's just a PDF, but at least I have all the understanding of what's going on inside of this account immediately as I'm in the meeting. My SWOT analysis, a bunch of great information is right here inside of this plan. I can have my org map. Again, this is where I verify the organizational structure in here. Let's say, for example, that I found out that Ginger now reports to Larry. So I can go ahead and I can move Ginger to report to Larry right now, and now I've reorganized my org map in real time. I've got this latest, greatest information, and it saves it as part of the account. And I just want to show you, how we take this meeting and then update this account. So now if I go back into that meeting, I can go ahead and save it, complete it, and it'll update this account with any new information that I have regarding from that meeting itself. So that was just a quick little practical exercise in that. And, looking back at what we did for the last half hour, we build pipeline and identify any cross-sell and upsell opportunities. Again, if you just ask a customer, they'll tell you. They want you to know, right? And it'd be better for you to know first than your competitors. Ensures customer success. We're building a customer loyalty. Ensure a complete understanding of the customer's long-term goals and objectives. Align your product roadmaps to customers' current and future requirements. Given our executive management insightful visibility into the account. This is the best way to send that account plan to the, your manager, or let them farm it up higher, but that's great visibility inside of the account. You verify your short-term, long-term strategy are in line with the customer, and you make sure you bring in value to the customer. Very critical. Now, some of the questions I get asked are, how often do you conduct a SAM? I like to conduct them every 6 months. Some are not as formal as others, but at least every 6 months with that account to make sure. Again, I think our customers can testify. I like talking to them. I enjoy it, and I don't want to. You don't want to. Every year come by. Hey, I need a renewal, because that you bring no value to the customer whatsoever. And it doesn't help you build your product out either. The customers have some great ideas for your product when they use it and you incorporate it. It's fantastic. And where's the best place? I've done them, user conferences that we've had. I've scheduled some SAMs there. I scheduled them off site. That's because when you get everybody off site, there's not a lot of distractions, but just getting that off site is the problem. Or you could have it, in your corporate office, or you can have it in theirs. Again, you want to limit the distractions as much as possible. The length of time for a SAM is anywhere between, I think, an hour to maybe 2 hours, depending upon, what exactly, where you're at within that account, how many products are you selling, and maybe how many open opportunities, and how many people are involved in those. When I was at Dell, we had somebody that owned LSU as the account. We owned opportunities within that. So when we talked the strategy with the customer or had a SAM, that there's more people involved. So it did take a little bit longer. So, if you're a Salesforce customer, you can start a 30-day trial. You can search Strategy Mapper on the Salesforce App Exchange, or you can schedule a personalized demo right here, or you can email us at sales at point in time, or you can email me personally. I like getting emails. And here's our phone number you can call us at. On our trial, it's fully supported, meaning that we'll help you set it up, we'll help you configure it, we'll do the training, we'll train the person that's configuring Strategy Mapper. Our goal is to make you successful with the product initially. And any other questions or comments? I know everybody's a busy day. I ran a couple minutes over because I didn't know how to use evidently the webinar tool. So I'll go ahead, and once this is completed after the recording, I'll go ahead and send you all an email with the link back into it. Again, here's our information. If you want to get a hold of us, please do. We look forward to talking to you. And I hope everybody has a special holiday season. Happy Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and safe and joyous, and be with your family. So thank you very much and have a great day.